to the Death Battle Cast, the show where we're about to do one of the biggest, most intense and explosive versus matches of all time, I think, if the Twitter responses are anything to go by. Hey, I'm Ben. I'm the voice of Wiz, joined by an amazing group of people here. First, we got Liam, voice of Liam.
Hey, everybody. Oh, okay. Hey, everybody. How we doing?
Check out that voice. Death Battle writer, director. And next to him, it's Noel Wiggins.
Hey, thanks for having me. Really appreciate being here and talking about such a controversial topic. It's going to be fun.
Well, Noel, you, maybe we'll get into it a little bit more in detail later, but you've worked on Death Battle plenty of times before, but also, like the other two guys here, you are running the new Red vs. Blue.
Yes. Red vs. Blue Family Shatters. It's airing today for first members. That's a Wednesday because today's Wednesday. That's how time works. Yeah, but then these guys underneath you right there, we got Josh and Billy. Yeah, they helped me make the show.
That's your cues, Josh and Billy.
Oh. Which one?
Same time.
Both of you.
Yeah, talk over each other. Let's go.
Of course, yeah.
Josh, please take it.
What am I doing?
You're here to talk about yourself and just be your wonderful,
Hi,
charming,
everybody.
handsome self.
I work on Death Battle. I work on Red vs. Blue. Writer, director on both.
Whoa.
Haha.
Dope.
Best of
I'm
both
Billy.
worlds.
I work with these guys, and I'm also the voice of Ringmaster, and today I'm practicing my anime reaction efforts.
Yes. Those notice sounds. All right. Speaking of which, we have a community death battle to get to. Though I would be remiss not to remind you that if you have not checked it out, or if you don't know what's going on, Extra Life is happening. Like basically right now. You can donate. There's little donate clicker marker. It says the money that's being donated to the kids. So Extra Life, the stream will be live this November 13th, this Saturday, from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Central Time on RTTV. Donate to the kids. Donate for the kids at donate.roosterteeth.com. Yeah, definitely check that out. We do this every year if you're not familiar with it, and it gets freaking wild. But we always end up having a good time by the end of it, and doing a good thing for a good cause. So please join us this weekend. So we have a few things we need to cover today. First and most importantly, Community Death Battle, which is a unique one. It is going to be which is better, Saturday morning cartoons or shonen anime? Come at us, I guess. We'll see how this goes. We also have a clip to show you guys later on in the show regarding Red vs. Blue Family Shatters, that show that Noel mentioned that is up for first members right now, the newest episode. If you have not been checking out that show, definitely should check it out. And real quick, thank you to the first members for watching this live on Wednesday. If you're not first, you can sign up to support us, watch exclusive content, and see new death battles and Red vs. Blues before anybody else. Okay, so here's how this is going to work. Josh is going to be arguing for the Saturday morning cartoons. Noel is going to be repping shonen anime. That's right. We're pitting the two RVB directors against each other. Let's do this. Which is very fitting because there's a lot of, I think, references and inspiration from both of these kinds of things in Red vs. Blue. The new episode is literally called Beach Episode.
Beach episode it is.
Whose idea was the beach episode? RVB Family Shatters episode.
You know, like it was in the writer's room. Ultimately, Beach episode was penned by the amazing Eddie Rivas, super talented, super smart, super funny, who also did Night of the Living Dad. So if you love those dad jokes, you're gonna enjoy this episode as well. I think, like in the writers' room, correct me if I'm wrong, Josh, we were always just tossing around a bunch of ideas that we really wanted to do, like what genres we wanted to hit. You know, whether it be from sitcoms or, in this particular circumstance, anime. And we were always just about, you know, you have to have the beach episode. And I think that's really just how it started. It was just more of like, Yeah, we just need to have a beach. To be official, we need to have a beach episode.
All right. Well, it's time to find out if the beach episode is worthy of giving Shonen Anime its title as best. Whatever the hell we're trying to decide here. All right,
There's got to be a Saturday morning equivalent, right? Like
genre,
episode.
but Saturday morning isn't a genre.
Yeah, Saturday morning isn't a genre.
Exactly.
Best programming.
This whole thing's falling apart right off the bat. All right, let's just move forward regardless. Josh, how about we start with you for Saturday morning cartoons? You have 60 seconds to tell us why it's the best.
Okay, I'm gonna paint a little picture for you guys. All right, you're in school, and the whole week your friends are talking about the latest and greatest cartoons. It's Friday night, you're going to bed, you're giddy, and you wake up Saturday morning too excited for breakfast. You go straight to the television and you watch an incredible block of curated cartoons that you and your friends are going to be talking about at the water cooler in your elementary school for the whole rest of the next week. This was before you could watch whatever you wanted to watch whenever you wanted to watch it. This was appointment television. It was a commitment. It was awesome to be part of something bigger than yourself, and you didn't want to miss it. I remember Saturday mornings when I would miss it, sleep in too late, my alarm wouldn't go off, and I was like, this weekend is over. I might as well just go back to school. There's nothing else to do. I missed it. You had to find out what was going to happen next, which talisman Jackie was going to get this week, or who the X-Men were going to fight. It was like that important, and year after year, week after week, it was just like an integral part of my childhood, and I'm sure many more out there in that audience.
I love it. So it's not just about the shows; it's about the experience and being part of a movement.
Yeah, doesn't happen anymore.
Pretty good,
kids.
My question is, what constitutes Saturday morning cartoons? Because when I was but a young babe growing up, I like Saturday morning cartoons specifically did not really exist. I mean, yeah, there were cartoons playing Saturday morning, but like there were cartoons playing all day, every day. I was a child of Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon in their prime. So what do those cartoons that I would have watched count? Or is it more of like an 80s, 90s thing?
That's a good question.
I mean, for me, in my position, I'm going to limit you, Josh. I'm going to limit you to 80s and 90s.
In the research that I've done, I would just say if it aired on a Saturday morning consistently, I think that counts.
Saturday morning.
And if there was a block, right? If there was like a designated
part of the block,
where like right after that block, it was left to like carpentry shows or the trading road shows that kids were like, great, now I got to go outside. Now,
and I have
according to Wikipedia, Saturday morning cartoons existed primarily from the 1960s to the 1980s. Wikipedia's always right, guys. We know this. The 1990s was the transition period. So I would say anything before the 2000s probably fits into it.
Okay.
But we need to learn why Shonen Anime might be better. Noel,
all right.
60 seconds on the clock.
Let me put on my glasses. Let me pull out my documentation.
God.
Okay, so let's start. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, let's start with the definition of what is a shonen. Wikipedia has it described as Japanese comics, but in case we're talking about anime, so it's fine. That is marketed towards young teen males between the ages of 12 and 18. None of that matters because let's talk about the sands of time. Which one actually survived? Let's be honest, do we even have Saturday morning cartoons anymore? I'm going to say no because they are trash. I don't believe that, but I'm just trying to win a case here. So let's talk about what made them so cool. One, the action scenes. I got 20-something seconds. Action scenes. They're amazing. They're unmatched. Everything was so cool. The theme songs were amazing. Everything was so good. It started to infiltrate Saturday morning cartoons itself. What is a Pokemon? What is a Digimon? What is a Monster Rancher? That's exactly why Shonen is so much better, because it took over, and guess what we're watching today? Everything is anime. Everything is Shonen anime, and showed you for the other folks.
Can I briefly add? I was looking at the Wikipedia page that discussed the decline of Saturday morning cartoons, and one of the reasons they gave was the gradual legalization of no-fault divorce in the United States over the course of the 1970s and 1980s.
Whoa. Too real.
Which prompted a spike in divorces and a desire by parents to make a more productive use of their time with their children.
So wait,
wow.
Connecting the dots, are you saying if Shonen anime infiltrated Saturday morning cartoons and killed it, does that mean Shonen anime causes divorce?
Shit.
What is divorce?
Yeah, can you look that one up?
Shonen anime is the breakdown of society. You need to go back.
Or it means people are happier because they're not having to stick in the marriages that they were forced into by society. Thus, Shonen makes everyone happy.
Believe it.
Everyone.
They took one look at
advice.
Goku and Chi-Chi and realized, man, I don't want any part of that.
Yeah, exactly. Wait, yeah. How could you say that when Goku doesn't even know what kissing is? Goku hasn't been introduced to a healthy, loving relationship. He's a mindless monster.
He just wants and he's just a bottomless pit that he eats food and then he fights all day. That's basically all you need to know. And he can't drive.
I'm not going to say the
can't drive.
I was going to say.
Can't
Go
drive.
on.
That eats all day. Yeah. Okay. Hey, I forgot to mention it. So here's how this is gonna work. We're just gonna shoot the shit for a bit, arguing about anime and cartoons. But the goal here is for Josh and Noel to convince the rest of us, the jury, including you guys, which of these is better, and we will vote on it at the end of the show. So keep that in mind. You can, if you're watching mobile, you can type #1 to vote for Shonen anime, #2 to vote for Saturday morning cartoons. You can see that in the chat right now. If you're not watching this live, hey, we do this every Wednesday at noon Central Time. You should check us out and join in on the argument, because I will be looking at the chat as well. Okay, we have very strong arguments for both. So Saturday morning, the experience of getting up, watching those cartoons and then sharing that with your friends. Shonen anime, it's really, really cool, but it sounds like you're watching it alone.
Damn. I have a question. What are the standouts of each respective field? Which are the prime examples? Because when I think of 80s, 90s Saturday morning cartoons, I think the majority of it is unwatchable dreck, personally. But what are the best? What are the best of the best?
That's a good question.
Okay, so I mean, I would say for Shonen, I'm obviously leaning with the Dragon Ball Z. I'm going with, let's see, more up to date. You have the Attack on Titans for all of those. But then you got to go back to the classics, the ones that literally have the staying power, like Pokemon. So if I could try to give us or give this argument 3 solid ones, I'm gonna stick with those. I do want to throw Naruto in there so bad because I'm just a huge fan. Naruto.
Naruto
is my favorite anime, but I'm just gonna stick with those. Yeah.
Pokemon, Dragon Ball, and Attack on Titan. Not the best showing.
Wow.
You gotta twirl your mustache while you're.
I got cases for
That's
each of
amazing.
them.
I don't think that's good enough.
A friend of mine from NYU voices How in the Sun and Moon anime, the English dub. Yeah, fun fact.
Great.
How is the
congrats.
My friend voices Raymond on Red vs. Blue, Liam.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I'm just gonna. You know what? Never mind. Josh, what are your Saturday morning cartoons?
Yes.
I mean, for me personally, I think there was a golden
is the key term.
There were 3 blocks that I really loved growing up. For me, that was One Saturday Morning, Kids WB, Fox Kids.
Yeah,
but
Those are good.
But to keep it within what we were saying, like 80s, 90s, I'll go back to 3 that I think were super iconic. incredible shows, and mainly just like in the comic book space. I mean, there's way more to venture out in because it's such a huge block. And I think one of the best things about Saturday morning cartoons in general is just there's variation, not one genre like Shonen is. There are so many. There's action adventure, there's comedy, so many different things. But the three I think I would want to highlight are like the original X-Men cartoon, the original Spider-Man cartoon, and like Batman the Animated Series. Like three incredible comic book shows.
Oh yeah, Batman the Animated
really
Series
defining.
Probably better than like every shonen.
I actually kind of wanted to point those out because those are three superhero cartoon shows that sort of helped define an era of those characters. An era that many of those characters are still sort of like either trapped within or embracing to this day. I also do want to point out that Gargoyles fits with
Gargoyles.
So good era as well. Of course, the original Ninja Turtles, which is, it's that like old school, like nearly He-Man Transformers-esque storytelling method.
Recess,
Recess. Animaniacs.
Oh yeah,
Scooby-Doo, of course.
Yeah.
That's one of the upsides that the Saturday morning has, is that you've got a lot of classic stuff. You got the Looney Tunes, Tom and Jerry.
SpongeBob wouldn't really count as a
I think SpongeBob is later.
Yeah,
DuckTales.
DuckTales,
though.
Oh yeah,
DuckTales counts.
Yeah,
like right toward the end, they started really knocking it out of the park in terms of quality, in terms of mixing story and what they could do. Right
at the end, yeah.
but hold on. Before we
just moved to other places.
Awful. But
before we get into those, let's talk about, again, Dragon Ball Z, Pokemon, Attack on Titan. They changed the world here. Like, let's be honest. Do you think anyone talking about DuckTales over in Switzerland, or do you think they're talking about Gummy Bears, which is a fantastic show, by the way? I'm trying so hard to argue for my side. But let's be honest. These shows have changed the way artists draw, changed the way we as kids, like, let's be honest. I was in the living room trying to do Kamehamehas, trying to blow out candles. I wasn't trying to pogo on a cane like Scrooge McDuck. We weren't doing any of that. Let's be honest.
I don't know. I feel like Batman the Animated Series definitely puts more hair on your chest than Dragon Ball Z.
Well, here, hang on. Let me pull it back a little bit, because Shonen.
Wanted to say that sentence.
I think Shonen anime, it's easy to look at it and think and kind of narrow its focus. And I saw some people in the chat actually talking about this. It's easy to say like Shonen is My Hero Academia, Naruto, boys punching things for boys entertainment, right? That's not entirely true. Shonen is at its core an audience, a target demographic.
Yes.
And so it does have shows and manga that branch out a little bit more beyond let's punch things. Death Note is technically a shonen.
Is Death Note a shonen?
Yes.
I mean, there's a fair amount of horror in shonen. Mix pretty lively, right? So
yeah. Let me.
I love Hunter
Bleach
Hunter.
Is kind of
Hunter, of course, is shonen. Full Metal Alchemist is shonen.
Yu Yu Hakusho. That's a class. Yeah. I mean, that's
one of the best. One of the best shows of all time. Akame ga Kill.
You meant Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yu Yu Hakusho is one of the best shows of all time.
I know you're making a really sick dig right there.
Hey, real quick word from our sponsor, Amazon Music. Listen, you probably like podcasts, right? I mean, you're here, so you'd probably like a ready lineup of binge-worthy podcasts plus free streaming music. So you should check out Amazon Music. They've got over 10 million free podcast episodes, including this one. But they're also not just for listening to podcasts. Amazon Music has thousands of music stations and top playlists to stream for free. And no matter what you're listening to, you can go hands-free with Alexa. So get the app and enjoy free listening anywhere on all your favorite devices. There's no credit card or subscription needed. And this is legit. I've actually used this even before we got sponsored. I didn't know we were going to be sponsored with this. This is great. Definitely worth checking out in my book. So if you've never tried Amazon Music, what are you waiting for? You're going to love it as much as I do. Start listening for free today. Head over to amazon.com/dbcpod. That's amazon.com/dbcpod to stream thousands of music stations and over 10 million podcast episodes for free. Amazon.com/dbcpod. Thanks so much, Amazon Music. Now, let's get back to the crazy arguments. Soul Eater, of course.
Yeah.
Dr. Stone, going to some more recent stuff. JoJo. It's a show.
You know, these are so good that they've actually warranted live action adaptations here. Let's be honest. Other than Sonic the Hedgehog.
Is this a plus? Is this?
Oh, this is a plus. Yeah.
Is this leading into a plus?
Sonic the Hedgehog had 3 Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah. Oh, you want to hear my dark secret? As a kid, I didn't even know about Sonic Sat AM. I only knew about the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. And I fucking loved it. When I was like 6 through 8, I couldn't get enough.
Oh yeah,
as a kid, I never played. I only got it on like VHS tapes. But
I will say, because of Sonic the Hedgehog, it is the only reason why I like chili dogs. I don't really care for them in general, but dude, the moment Sonic was like, "You got any chili dogs?" I was like, "This has to be the greatest food in the world."
The problem
Mom,
is that
let's go to Sonic's now. I need a Cody.
Nukes your intestinal system. Like, I love chili dogs. I hate the next week after I've had chili dogs.
Okay,
it was like Popeye and spinach chili dogs for Sonic.
Yeah, literally.
So, argument for anime's sake: Saturday morning cartoons specifically destroy your digestive tract.
Yeah,
got it.
It's worth it.
Well, but remember, kids were doing like kamehamehas and like jumping off of like trees and smashing their necks and shit. So that was like a thing, or that was like at least like some like
their
concerned.
necks?
But you're a kid. You'll get up. You'll get up.
Whinging about that.
Invincible.
Back in the 90s.
You're invincible.
Michelangelo couldn't even keep his nunchucks in the UK, right? He had to use a grappling hook.
Yes,
that's true.
Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles.
Kids would hit themselves with it.
Yeah, they weren't ninjas. They weren't ninja in the European version.
What were they?
They were heroes. Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles.
Right.
And Nunchaku were banned.
Castrated.
So yeah, he only used that grappling hook thing. That all
so
of them
funny
have.
To look back at like the 80s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and be like, yeah, that needed censoring.
Yeah, I know, right?
That was
Gentleman Top Hat mentions, don't forget Fist of the North Star. Classic.
Oh, yeah.
Classic Shonen. Absolutely.
A building fell on him and he walked through it. I had to do the research on it with Sam Mitchell. I was like, how do you calculate this? He's walking through the building. And I was like, yo, okay, he's beating JoJo easily. He's beating JoJo easy. There's no way.
Yeah. Well, interesting arguments.
I'm glad I brought you all here.
Yeah.
Okay. I will
say this. I will argue for Saturday morning cartoons in that I truly believe they had a better, more like wholesome, realistic virtues and messages. You know, I'm thinking Captain Planet and the Planeteers. If we had listened to them, we wouldn't be in this hellhole of Earth.
But I mean, that was the whole point of Captain Planet, as opposed to like the rest, where it was just crammed into the last 2 minutes because legally they had to.
Yep, you know, the G.I. Joe had some PSAs to teach you about, you know, like sandwiches. I forget what the thing is, or body massage machine man, go.
Or Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog would teach you don't climb in the washing machine.
That's not cool, dude.
That's a problem.
I love doing that.
That's a problem.
Placing it.
It's a problem.
I think that's the benefit of the fact that like we're talking about like a programming block. Like it's literally it's a curated list of shows that are designed to like hit all these different checkboxes, like teach kids some good lessons, entertain them, sell merchandise, and like keep them watching week after week, right? Like it was programmed to be successful, and it really, really was.
You couldn't pay me enough to like watch classic G.I. Joe anymore. my brains would leak out of my ears. I can watch like Death Note, and I can watch Hunter x Hunter, and I can watch Batman the Animated Series. So maybe the question is like, which genre has more stuff that is we've completely aged out of?
That's a good point, right? I mean, I would say for me, the only Saturday morning cartoons I find myself still trying to watch are like, where on earth is Carmen Sandiego? I mean, let's be honest. Would we all know where the Leaning Tower of Pisa is if it wasn't for Carmen Sandiego? I'm going to assume no. Would we all know where the pyramids are? I'm assuming no.
Holy shit, is Magic School Bus? Was that a...
I wasn't sure about that. I can't
that would count, yeah.
There you go.
You know, is Sonic a bit of an Inception show? Because you had the Saturday morning AM version, which distinctly made in America. Then you had Sonic X following it up, which was anime. Which I think would
see, that's the trend. They knew where to go.
Oh, Courage the Cowardly Dog?
Yes.
Rugrats?
So
Dexter? I
actually wanted to touch on something you brought up, Noel. The fact that anime infiltrated into the Saturday morning lineup.
It did.
Is that a benefit for anime, or is that actually a benefit for Saturday morning cartoons? Because that means that if you're a Saturday morning cartoon fan, or you're siding with that, you're getting some of your anime fix regardless.
You know, now back to what Liam said. I think it infiltrated. It infiltrated and then took you from the world of Saturday morning cartoons and put you with the shonen animes. Because Liam, just like you were saying, besides Batman animated series, which is arguably the greatest thing in the world animated, so it doesn't count in this argument. It just doesn't count. Doesn't count. You still will watch, like you said, Hunter x Hunter. You will still watch those animes. Probably not so much of the Saturday morning cartoon.
I wouldn't willingly choose.
if both came on both of your monitors, you'd probably turn your head towards the Hunter x Hunter.
This is the most jaded person we know. I may watch them, and no, you couldn't make me watch them.
Actually, I've been watching Star Trek TNG recently. That's just a side note, but no.
Liam, that is not a Saturday morning cartoon or an anime. What are you talking about?
I somewhat consider Star Trek to be an anime. I'm kidding.
But I do think that that programming wise, they were like all the execs were like everyone, there's clearly something going on in Japan right now, and it is going to take the world by storm. We need to hop on this really fast. Someone call Hasbro, get them on the line. Someone called Saban or Sabin, however you pronounce it, get them on the line. We got to do this. So like that's why I think that it works in favor of shonen, because it was just giving the world what it needed. It was giving the kids what they wanted.
Yeah,
when you start getting your
Spider-Man in the Amazing Spider-Man cartoon like never threw a punch.
Yeah,
he never threw a punch in the entire
He-Man never
cartoon.
uses a sword.
Never used the sword because violence was just such a no-no, even if it's
but then you start getting
sanitized.
Yeah, then you start getting like your Ben 10s, your Teen Titans, which are kind of very obviously inspired by
anime.
By what now? By
shonen anime. Yeah, absolutely.
That's in the transitionary period. Yeah.
Yeah,
we talked about this briefly before we got on, but I'm curious about what y'all's thoughts on this are. Because for me, the first time I ever watched Pokemon was on Kids WB Saturday mornings, and I did see some debate online, like, would we consider Pokemon a shonen if it's like designed for kids?
Yeah, that is what shonen is. It's for young boys.
Power of friendship.
I always imagined shonen being like more for teenagers, like you're kind of aging out of Pokemon and into like heavier stuff, like a bunch of other shows we've mentioned. Like, but Pokemon and Digimon are like much more kid oriented.
Shonen is specifically marketed towards young teen males between the ages of 12 and 18. Which I don't think Pokemon counts as a shonen. I think that's a shoujo.
Shoujo is girl.
No, that's not shoujo. What is it? Yeah, I realized that halfway through saying it, which is why I was like,
it's kind of writing the line. It's like,
oh man, I can't remember what that genre is, but I don't think it counts as shonen, unless there's like a young shonen.
But then I was also
shonen for kids.
That was the time period where they would market shows as if they were shonen shows, like fucking Cardcaptor Sakura.
Was
positioned as being this like adventure show, which
Oh yeah, that's how I got tricked into watching Tenchi Muyo. I was like,
but did you enjoy yourself?
You know, it was a new experience.
He had a lightsaber.
He did have a lightsaber.
1 out of the 10 episodes, and the rest was like, Tenchi!
There's a point. There's a point against shonen anime from that time period. By the way, some of the voice acting.
Carrying Worms got me covered.
Yep.
Kodomo, which means that Pokemon, which was earlier established as an argument for shonen, is actually a Saturday morning cartoon in this debate.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen.
In this debate, specifically.
Oh my god! And thus the blanket comes out.
I choose you because you.
Digimon, in this debate, because this is not a shonen, falls under Saturday morning cartoon.
Whoa.
Actually, Digimon might be a shonen. That's for a slightly older audience.
Yeah, that's fair.
What is it called?
Pokemon.
A Kuroma?
Kodomo.
Kuromo.
They're mentioning in the chat right now. Cypher just
I'll say this:
well.
I'm old enough. I'm old enough that when Pokemon came out, I was turning 12 years old, and so I fit into the demographic of shonen. That's all I have for that. That's it.
There's some crossover. For sure.
You're like me. You've been inside for a very long time. And you haven't got any new clothes because all you wear is the same pairs of pajamas every day. Well, I got something for you. Stitch Fix. Bad boys over there have made an even better service called Stitch Fix Freestyle, where you don't have to wait for your monthly box. You can just go to the Stitch Fix Freestyle and you got some trusted style destinations where you can look at all sorts of stuff. I went there. I got this freaking awesome shirt. I love it. It makes me want to drink tiki drinks even though it's November right now, and that's awesome. So yeah, you can go there. You can shop over 1,000 brands and styles personalized to you for your size and your fit, with styles for workouts, workwear, tiki, living life, and the good beach vibes, And you can just get your style back because it's been a minute since we've all had any, right? So plus there's no subscription required, and they offer free shipping, returns, and exchanges, which is super duper awesome. Yeah, I got a handful of things. I got some of the most comfortable workout pants I've ever gotten just for lounge around, because we also do that. Obviously, like I've said, I got this wonderful shirt. It's just really good. I love Stitch Fix. The Stitch Fix Freestyle just makes it super easy. Be like, you know what? I need a new shirt for this thing that's coming up in next week. You just go there, and they've already got stuff catered for you since you've done your little intro quiz and everything and answered a whole bunch of style questions. And it's like, boom, here's a bunch of good options for exactly what I want. I have to go to 100 different websites to find the best thing to do this. No, I just go to one place. They got it for me. It's good, and you get a good product. This thing's super comfortable. I love it. Anyways, get started by filling out your style quiz at stitchfix.com/cast. That's stitchfix.com/cast to try Stitch Fix Freestyle. stitchfix.com/cast. Go give it a shout. It's awesome. Like it a lot. Cannot recommend it enough. Bye.
I mean, the idea of like a specific genre that's like for 8 to 12 and then from 12 to 18, that kind of fits together a lot.
Was Batman Beyond, was that Saturday morning cartoon?
It's like early 2000s, yeah.
Early
that
2000s.
Was not.
Gotcha.
WB. That was not. It doesn't count.
Oh, okay, good.
You're like, oh, good. I don't have to argue with this.
It's so good.
Saturday mornings ended before then.
Batman Beyond had me believing that I was like, after watching Batman Beyond, all I kept thinking about was, I can't wait to grow up so I could go to raves. I can't wait. Raves are going to be so exciting.
They're going to be everywhere.
And wasn't everything you imagined? Wasn't everything that Batman Beyond promised you?
I love that the early 2000s tried to convince us that raves were the best thing ever.
Oh, yeah.
That was like in everything
rave
back
propaganda.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Now, 2020
it made me want to be
sitting sadly in a living room crying.
It made me want to be a rave promoter, and I would just have like a building, and the rave would just be called All the Rave. That's it. That's the name of the place.
That's so
it would just.
rave,
That's
okay.
so rave.
Here's a question. Here's a question. So I'm looking at. It was mentioned in the chat. A couple people are talking about Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh in Japan was definitely made as a shonen.
Yeah, 100%.
However, I would argue that 4Kids specifically turned it into a Kodomo. for an American audience.
I would agree with that.
Which means it might fit within both of these.
So it means that the children were fooled here in America. They were fooled to love shonen. They were fooled to love anime. And now look at them.
Well, because Yu-Gi-Oh, like the original manga, like doesn't he just like fucking Glock people at certain points?
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
Well, the first
like
arc
killing
of Yu-Gi-Oh is like not card games. It's like just games in general, and you'd like
King of
die
Games
a horrible death.
the franchise is called. So
Kind of awesome. I was like, fuck.
You don't see that on one Saturday morning. You won't see that.
And I have a vague like junior high memory of reading for the first reading Yu-Gi-Oh for the first time and realizing that Joey Wheeler was like pretty pervy. Not at all like his anime counterpart.
They all have to fucking have the pervert character.
And he had to have that, like, was it a Boston accent? Hey, you,
New York.
Hey, don't make fun of Joey Wheeler.
I'm Joey Wheeler. Hey. Yeah.
Come on, you. Best character.
And also, Yu-Gi-Oh was another show that made you want to grow up because, like, let's be honest, once Yu-Gi-Oh does his Yu-Gi-Oh, he just turns into a grown man. That's all he does. His puzzle piece moves around, and then he talks with a very deep voice, and then he's probably going to get into raves after that. And then he's just raving out after that.
Did they ever explain how nobody notices that he turns into an adult man when he plays the game? I don't think they ever explained that.
No one questions
call him
it.
the Pharaoh?
Eventually they learn about Yami, but like for the first like 4 seasons, he's transforming into a grown man to play the game, and nobody notices.
Subjective camera. Maybe it's just all in our heads.
And Joey's like, "Hey, Yuga, I'm not going to say anything."
So far away on a platform, I couldn't really tell.
Yeah.
Man, when he gets into the game, he really gets into it.
That's it. They don't notice his deep voice, but they notice he just has more buckles on his clothes. He just becomes more Kingdom Hearts, more Final Fantasy.
From my deck, suspension of disbelief.
All right, so get your votes in for Shonen versus Saturday morning cartoon. Clearly, this is a very heated debate with the. I have no idea what the hell we've been talking about. Both of them are great, but let's see which one is better. All right, go ahead and vote. But right now, let's talk about what is going on. With Red versus Blue Family Shatters. There's a brand new episode out for first members. It will be up for general audiences. Sure,
general audiences, fine.
The next day, tomorrow, right? Yeah,
yeah.
I've got that like TV thing in my brain now. But we've got a little clip to show you if you haven't seen the episode yet. Let's go ahead and play that.
That settles it. Looks like we need to liven things up around here. I think it's time for a friendly
dare say
competition.
Oh, crap. She's right. You made us do relay races the last time we argued.
I was the three-legged potato.
Not how that works, Raymond.
You know, maybe what we actually need is some rest and relaxation. You know, R&R with our besties. Oh my god, yes, it's happening! Beach episode!
Oh my gosh, was that Noel Wiggins? The voice of Raymond?
That is correct. I
World
get to
famous
play Agent Raymond. But yes, that was a clip from the episode that is out today for first members, tomorrow for general audiences. That includes YouTube as well. So please check it out. It's a really fun episode. Again, I think the clip sets it up perfectly. You know, the gang, they just need a little R&R. They just want to go to the beach. And then that's a classic trope of anime, the beach episode. So, yeah.
Which might be an argument for anime, now that I think about it. Saturday morning cartoons don't typically have beach episodes.
They don't.
Family Chatters.
Yeah, because there's no filler. It's all substance.
I wish it was. It's a Wednesday morning cartoon.
Oh. I mean, you could watch it on Saturday mornings. Some people are talking about, like, in the chat, like, Miraculous Ladybug. premieres on Saturday morning. So technically, Saturday morning cartoons sort of still exists. It just doesn't have that block.
If I choose to watch Citizen Kane on a Saturday morning, is Citizen Kane
Saturday morning cartoon.
Saturday morning cartoon?
Shit. It becomes a cartoon.
All right. Wow. This became stacked. This became unfair.
Yeah,
I have the criteria. Now we have the Criterion Collection is involved. Now.
We're talking about a target demographic of like just 6 years of age versus just a time block, like a general time point in a day. Like, but okay, for RVB, since we have a lot of people here who worked on the show, I want to talk to you guys about it a little bit.
Yeah.
We've talked a little bit about RVB the last couple Death Metal casts, but I feel like now is a good time to really dive into the process for it, and how this maybe is different from previous seasons of Red vs. Blue, and what you guys are doing with these characters.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. I'll kick it off, and then I'll pass to Billy and Josh. What we're definitely doing this particular season is we really want to, shift gears, if you will, to instead of using the quote unquote Halo engine to make like these stories, we really want to switch over to the Unreal engine. So still keeping that spirit of machinima. We're very well aware, when everyone says machinima, they tend to think of like the Halo engines, but we really want to keep that spirit of, still making machinima using Unreal, but we also want to kind of, push some boundaries, kind of see how far we could go. And I think that's probably what we're doing different the most. We also want to go back to a true to form a type of format where we really focus on these characters, these character pairings, a lot of like funnier comedy, a lot of jokes, a lot more standing around and talking, so to speak. So like that's kind of like the area that we want to fit. We want to find a real balance of that amazing action that we had for Red vs. Blue Zero, but then also really, really blend it, if you will, find that harmony between, like our legacy seasons, which, by the way, it's been such an honor to work on such a property that's been around for so long. So, we really wanted to have that respect of bringing back the old and mixing it with the new, and then doing a quote unquote Kamehameha blast in your faces. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, last Zero was kind of our Shonen Sentai tribute season, more or less. And now we're kind of combining the two. Kind of like this conversation's been going, we're getting some of the influence back in, but now we're focusing on characters. I think you guys have been doing a fantastic job with the season. It's been very funny. So,
and this season has looked amazing thanks to Billy. Yeah. Thanks to Billy. Billy has been at the forefront of really driving this look that we're going for, and I think it looks sensational. So thank you, Billy. I tell you that every day, but I just want to say it out loud. Thank you for everything you do on this show.
And I don't forget Josh and Austin, from classic Red vs. Blue production. They're working in VizPost also, and they're making things look fantastic.
Absolutely.
It's just neat to explore this format in a new engine type. Like, I think there's definitely still charm in traditional machinima, but this is us exploring what we can do with kind of an expanded horizon within the property.
Yeah, well, actually, on that note, because I know I'm sure like diehard old school Red vs. Blue fans would probably look at this and be like, "Oh, it's not in the Halo engine, the Forge, right?" Doesn't that like make it not Red vs. Blue anymore? Because I think one of the iconic things about RVB was like the creativity used to essentially push the games themselves to the limits that they could to express different ideas and stories and whatnot. The only thing about that is the very core of that has a limit. It was pushing the games to those limits, and the series has been on for almost 2 decades at this point. So part of the reason for the Unreal switch is because of that limit, right? And like now we're able to take those same ideas and move it into something that doesn't quite have those limitations. Still try to like create that same sort of vibe, but with more to work with, essentially, right?
Exactly. Nope. That is it 100%. You know, we really just want to, as the season kind of progresses, we kind of are using this as a way of like experimenting and seeing how far we can push the boundaries while still, you know, like keeping those core values. So, you know, yeah, like it's given us the opportunity to do some very fun things. And, you know, like going back to like Red versus Blue, you know, completely understand the sentiment that it's like, you know, are there reds versus blues, you know? And so a perspective I'd like to share, like at least from my standpoint, is, you know, red versus blue is becoming something even bigger, like a universe, if you will. If you go to the Rooster Teeth website, we have a little section on the left that says red versus blue universe, because ultimately, you know, like red versus blue is entering that expansive universe brand, like, you know, like a avenue to where, you know, you still have the OG seasons that you can watch, but then you also have what is Family Shatters, which is just a non-canonical, you know, slice of life, you know, series of shorts that we just really wanted to have fun and bring in that old energy and that charm from yesteryear and just bring it into today. So
yeah, that's awesome. And you guys have been having a blast writing these episodes, right? Like beach episode, walk and talk episode, like
yes,
really leaning into. So what are the main inspirations behind these like themes that you guys are doing, Josh?
I would say like it's been so fun because like it's really freeing to get to take like goals for a season that you usually have, things you want to get to, things you have to get to, and kind of put those aside and just pitch stuff that makes us laugh. Like, what's the funniest thing in the room? That's what we're going to make. And so I think that's kind of where it was born from, is just like me and Eddie and Hannah and Noel, like we grew up watching 90s sitcoms and obviously like anime and Saturday morning cartoons. It's like we're just going to inject this version of our show with things that we loved growing up, because that still tickles us and makes us laugh and stuff. So you got stuff like Beach Episode, you got stuff like, it's not a thing I grew up watching, but loved The West Wing, and so we were like, let's do a walk and talk episode, and I think that would work well for our characters, so let's do that. And it's just like pitching that, like I remember when I think it was honestly Noel, I think it was your idea to do a walk and talk, and I remember you being like, let's do like a Sorkin-esque walk and talk with our characters, and just the idea of that made us laugh. So we were like, we got to do that. So it was just like things we love, things we want to see our characters in, and which combinations made us laugh the most, and then we picked, you know, 10 or so of them and ran with it, and have just been having a blast putting them together.
Yeah, see, and like just like what you were saying, like whenever we were talking about the walk and talk, you know, like we know we couldn't do the standing around and talking better than like, you know, the creators of before. So instead of, you know, really trying to replicate what they're doing and falling short, we really wanted to just grab that creative spirit that they have, bring it into what we are doing, and saying, you know, how can we not try to one up it, because again, there's no way to one up the, like, you know, like the Blood Gulch crew. We were just trying to make it our own, so that, you know, like, so that we wouldn't have to compete, so to speak. So in this case, instead of standing around and talking, we were just wanted to turn it into more of like a walking and talking. And how could we also do that or create that idea to further help with our experimentation and pushing of the quote unquote technology, right? So it was working with like Billy and Josh Ornelas and Austin Clark, and really trying to figure out how could we create these more expansive, fun worlds where the characters can sit down and cross their legs and, you know, and show certain like levels of emotion that they couldn't before. But specifically with Walk and Talk, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Billy, it was Josh Ornelas who devised this like this labyrinth of like hallways that the characters could just walk through and make it one continuous oneer, just one shot is the entire episode. And that was something
that was one where Andreas developed the whole pathing system, so we could kind of keep focusing on the animation as they walked, but they would stay on this track, so we didn't have to manually position them throughout this labyrinthine environment they did. Yeah.
And my favorite little tiny nerdy detail about Walk and Talk is that it looks like it's being shot by somebody like with a steady cam.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Like, it's got that like lifelike camera bounce like it would if you were really shooting a Walk and Talk on the set of The West Wing. And I was like, this is amazing. Like, it gives it that much more like authenticity. You feel it. As soon as it starts, it's like you kind of already are getting the sense of what the sketch is even before it really lands its premise. Like just initial camera movement takes you there, even if it's like subconscious. And I love it so much. They made it look
right.
incredible.
It was like how could we toss in this like episodic drama into this show?
Yeah.
and again like there's no tie, so we're just like, yeah, let's just do it. And then like it doesn't really have to mean anything. But we just want to do something just different and interesting. But I'm sorry, I cut you off.
The camera's actually one of the more complex things with doing it through traditional machinima, because you're kind of having to stick it through first person view or clever, third person positioning. So it's not as easy to do complex camera work in Halo itself. So one of the things that comes up.
I just want to say I love how something as seemingly simple as just characters walking around and talking came up, and you guys were like, here's everything we did that we just could not have done in the old style. This is a perfect example of taking it to the next stage of the universe's presentation. Which I guess, is that going to be the thing now? Like, whenever the old crew is in the Halo engine, it's like they stand around and talk. But when the Zero crew is in Unreal Engine, it's the walk around and talk era of Red versus Blue.
Honestly, I don't know. Like, like we've been like toying around with that idea, and honestly, I don't have an answer for you.
That's
but if you stick around and watch through the full season of Family Shatters, who knows? You very well may get that answer. Wink, wink, nod, nod. Maybe you should stick around.
And then the next thing will be, of course, the run around and talk era. So.
Right? Yeah.
And then everybody gets tired and comes back to sitting around and talking. It's just a big cycle. I love it. All right. Yeah. So definitely go check out Red vs. Blue Family Shatters. These guys have been doing a phenomenal job with it. It's a lot of fun to watch. Man, that's so cool. And I do want to say, because I know I've seen people talk about this and question it. Like, where's all the old cast? Is it because all the old cast have they just left Rooster Teeth? That's not true. There's plenty of them still around, and I'm sure you might be able to see them in the future. Who knows? We'll see. Not gonna spoil anything or say anything. Let's move on to the community death battle. Which is whatever the hell we're going to be doing with Shonen versus Saturday Morning. We have to vote on this now. Yeah. How do we do this? Okay.
We should have the best theme songs.
That's come on.
One. Well, only one I could understand.
But both you could feel, though.
I could feel both. Yeah, the feeling transcends language
right?
I mean, some of the dubs Shonen OPs are great. One Piece, for example, is the 4Kids yo ya yo ya. Oh my god!
Is that Shonen anime? Or
I wasn't thinking of that one. I was thinking of why am I blanking on what it's called?
I love the One Piece opening.
I love any opening where
I was thinking of We Are. Not the rap.
The rap is fucking awesome.
I love any theme song where you can tell the composer shows up and then like the studio's like, okay, so for the theme song, we just need you to explain the show. Just please explain all the characters.
Like
explain. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
or even for like Monster Rancher, explain the monster disc or whatever they're called. Explain that the villain's name is the Evil Moo. I don't know why his name is that, but please just explain the whole thing, and then you're good to go. We'll pay you money. But I love those type of theme songs.
Guys, I think we might have figured out the like ultimate culmination of the showdown. We Are the like classic One Piece opening versus the Gum Gum rap.
Rap.
That's what this is.
Yeah.
The One Piece rap. That's what this is. Rap. It's the rap versus the original song. Which one is better? That's what you can boil it down to. Oh no. All right. Let's get to the voting, and this will start with you guys. Let's get to the Twitter poll. Actually, no. Let's get to the Twitter answers first. Sorry, getting ahead of myself. First Twitter answer. Let's see. What is his name? Why do you want me to say this? Want Some Wood says, I don't give a fuck about most anime, especially the 3 on the thumbnail. Oh, geez. So I'm going to say Saturday morning cartoons. But here's the thing. I'm currently 22. Thus, my Saturday morning cartoons were in the 2000s era. So this answer doesn't actually work.
You're too young. You're
So
too
it's
young.
Transformers, G1, X-Men, and Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. My shows are Transformers animated, Spectacular Spider-Man, and Sonic X. One of which is an anime. But I guess it was for kids. I guess Sonic X was one of the last 4 kids.
Yeah, it was right on that dividing line.
But
Evolutions.
It's all murky.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Inspired by anime by that point. Inspired by anime by that point.
I'll take his vote anyway. I mean,
All right, let's go ahead and bring up the answer for the Animus. Shonen anime. This is from C-Spa Dinner. Shonen anime animation is consistently great.
Look at that smile on that boy. Look at that
It is a good smile. Loads of amazing stories, hilarious and lovable characters, all wrapped up with over-the-top fights. Plus, shonen anime intros are like 1 minute 30 seconds anyways. I actually think that's a detriment.
Yeah.
I skip them.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
the songs are great, but like I want to get to the show.
yeah, you
Just
can
give me
hear
the
it
fucking
once
show.
per session per viewing.
Well, also thinking about the music, what do people like? All the gym rats. Are you listening to again? Are you listening to like the TMNT, song, or are you listening to like Naruto in your headphones while you're getting that pump on? I don't go to the gym.
Listening to either?
I don't know. I think you listen to anime. You have to listen to like My Hero Academia. That music's inspirational. I will say.
In C-Spa's defense, animation is consistently great. I will say, shonen anime has a much greater variety of animation styles, whereas Saturday morning cartoons, generally speaking, were designed to fit within. But then you got stuff like Gargoyles and Batman.
Yeah.
Or like
No, I
Animaniacs
think
and stuff.
both of them kind of fit within the same sort of idea of they were generally established as like this cheap kind of go-to almost assembly line style of animation, but then you have certain ones that stand out.
Yeah.
Shonen anime just probably has more time dedicated to it because it didn't have an era. So we have more standouts over the years. Because obviously the 2000s count for shonen. And there's lots of really good looking shonen in the 2000s. So if you look back at the 90s, it was sort of a similar boat as Saturday morning, where it was kind of, up in the air whether or not you were going to get something good or something that was just a lot of still images of people yelling at each other. Which is a lot of shonen anime, like especially the older shonen anime. There's a lot of that.
It's a lot of yelling.
Yeah, it's a lot of just static images of characters, and the only thing moving is their mouths.
Yeah.
Even now,
Action
there are
lines.
some anime that is a lot of like oh, they've just been standing here. They've been doing some interesting things to make us not realize that the characters have just been standing here, but they're indeed just been standing here.
What was that show, Liam?
Yeah,
there was a manga
JoJo
that
has
you
some of
told
that,
me.
too.
There was a manga that you told me was going to be like the next big thing.
Oh,
Then it came out, and it was
You're
like
gonna
horribly
break his heart
animated.
all
What was
over
that?
again.
sad. Record of Ragnarok. Oh,
Yeah.
how fucking depressing. It's so perfect for death battle too. It's literally an anime death battle, but with historical figures and mythological gods, and it's the greatest fucking thing ever. And the anime, the fight scene between Zeus and Adam, which is the most like resonant part of the early manga. It's like such a big deal. It's kind of what hooks everybody. It was just like it was a fucking PowerPoint presentation. It was unbelievable.
It was word art.
It was literal word art. It was like a
That's
static
sad.
image of like the punches flying and then the punching rush sound effects.
Just like really good storyboards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I actually couldn't fucking believe it. I was like, my eyes melted out of my eye sockets. And it was extra bad because like literally like 2 weeks before I was like, you guys gotta keep your eyes out because we're gonna need to get like Adam on Death Battle next
Oh
week.
man.
Yeah, no.
And then that show.
Keep your eyes out.
No shade against the animation team for that. I'm sure it was just a time and budget thing. But man, that's unfortunate.
Bummer.
All right, but so basically the idea is both of them have the same sort of issue that crops up. So I don't know. this is very close for me. Like, it's hard to say because I feel like everything that you could say is a plus or a minus for one of them also sort of applies to the other.
Yes.
Let's go ahead and bring up the Twitter poll and get this vote.
It'd be so much easier if it was like 2000s cartoons.
Oh wow!
Probably.
Yeah.
Shonen barely pulls ahead on the Twitter poll, 53% to 46%.
It was 50-50 for a while there.
Wow.
I mean, it's very close to 50-50. Well, wow.
Yeah, they had it. They had them, but then they drove on the power of friendship.
Look at that, Billy. You got it. The power of friendship. The spirit bomb.
How did that not come up? Yeah, over 1,200 votes, and Shonen just barely edges out. Yeah, we barely mentioned the power of friendship or beach episodes. Like, weirdly enough.
Old pervert character.
Too much to cover. There's just too much to cover in such a little time.
Did you want to be horny as a kid? You watch Shonen anime. All right, let's go ahead and get our votes in. I don't want to start, but I guess I'm gonna start. Oh my god.
I don't know how to vote.
I don't know how
vote
to do
with
this.
Your
Does
heart.
anybody want to start?
No.
Well, okay, this is between me, Liam, and Billy for the votes here. Because Josh and Noel were the debaters, but we'll see if we need a tiebreaker. Does anybody want to start?
I'm going Shonen. I'm going to stand here for the next 3 hours and charge Noel if you right about me. Build bomb energy for you, buddy.
All right,
I'll take it.
All right, go ahead and get your votes into the chat right now. That's going to be closing any second now.
Then I'll go Saturday morning cartoons.
Yes.
Vote.
You have the right to be wrong.
Oh, man.
That's perfectly okay.
Because I like Batman the animated series.
Yeah, that and Gargoyles are the ones that are like really
that transitional period is so good.
Let's think about this.
One Piece,
Batman has had decades of material to create these complicated characters. They had so much. They had so much time.
They literally invented why Mr. Freeze is interesting in that show.
They reinvented the franchise.
Ice Dude before that.
He was wild.
I guess
Harley Quinn.
I guess you could argue that a lot of the reinvention of the Batman series was based on the Tim Burton movie. That came out first, and it sort of escalated from there.
Stylistically, yeah.
Yeah.
I would say plot and character, I think they couldn't be more different.
Man, okay, even though there are some really big standouts for Saturday morning, I think I'm going to go Shonen.
Yes!
I think I'm going to go Shonen. I
Right.
think there is something to be said about that consistent good feeling for Shonen. Even the bad Shonens are going to have like a quality to it where you know it's going to be fun to watch. Whereas there's a lot we were talking about, like going back and watching the old Transformers. I can't do it. I just can't do it. I can't watch
I
classic.
definitely can't watch that. It's so
G.I.
bad.
Joe. Yeah, it's just hard to watch. So yeah, and I feel like I can go back to those old shows like Yu Yu Hakusho. Like I can go back to that anytime. So
yeah,
I think Shonen stands the test of time a little bit more than Saturday morning as a whole.
Got him.
All right. So that's 2 for Shonen, 1 for Saturday morning. But let's go ahead and bring up you guys' votes from the chat. This might be a tie. We'll see. Shonen barely edges out again, 52 to 48%. Wow, what a close match. Okay. And that is it. It is official. Now nobody can ever say that Saturday morning cartoons are better than Shonen anime, apparently, because that's what this show's all about, right? We just like we're the final say, right?
Wait, what about Street Sharks? We didn't even bring up Street Sharks.
Oh no! I'm changing my vote.
SWAT cat. Somehow.
You betrayed your people.
Captain Play. All right. It's amazing. All right.
Goku versus the Magic School Bus.
Oh. All right, we gotta wrap this up. We're a little over. Thank you guys so much for watching this Death Metal Cast. Noel, thank you for joining us. Of course, Billy and Josh as well. This was so much fun. Next up is Achievement Hunter. Again, Extra Life is this weekend. Tune in this Saturday from 10 to 10. It's gonna be a wild time. Donate for the kids. Save some lives. It's gonna be great. All right. As always, be kind to others. Be kind to yourself. Be awesome. And we'll see you next week. Take care.
Bye-bye, everybody.